Okay, we came from Poland. We are from company Divante. We are an e-commerce software house, and we're here to share some information about a project we're working right now internally in our company, which is exciting for all of us, developers, business guys, and even for our CTO, who after like 3 years of being just a management CTO, dealing with management stuff, started to code again, and he's coding so hardly right now on the project that right now when we were sitting, he was committing and writing to Filip to commit as well. So he's like doing it all the time. So this is what we are working on. So it's a progressive web app for e-commerce. Sorry for the misspelling over there, but it happens. Okay. So I think right now it's not like a rocket science to say that e-commerce in general is growing all the time. But what's interesting is that the mobile commerce is the one that it's growing a bit faster than standard PC commerce. And why is that? It's because right now there are more than 5 billion mobile devices connected to the web. So it's like, I think you can say that 2/3 of whole world population. And it's developing pretty fast. But there's like one small problem because of it. Recently, Google on their conference said that they are predicting that the mobile app era will end. And there are like 2 reasons because of that. The first one is that only 1 per 10,000 mobile apps are profitable, so it's kind of really silly number. And the second one is that the costs to acquire one user to mobile app is 10 times higher than to acquire them to simple web app. So that's kind of really business challenge, and they are predicting that because of that, the future of mobile world is PWA, so progressive web apps, and we think so too. That's why we are working on something that can help the e-commerce in general. Okay, so PWAs are really cool because they have 2 nice features from both worlds, so mobile apps and web apps. First of all is the mobile web reach, because it's 3 times higher than in apps. Why is that? It's simple as that. It's easier to take your phone, enter Google Chrome, and browse the web. So it's easy as that. You don't have to download the app. You don't have to sometimes register and go through all of it. But on the other hand, the mobile engagement is like 20 times higher. It means that we spend more time on mobile apps than on web apps. And that's because of cool features that mobile apps have, meaning, I don't know, push notifications, some good UX design, some nice features that simply the web apps don't have, because it's kind of hard to do it. And the main question over here is, what's wrong with the mobile e-commerce right now? The simplest answer to the question is that the modern e-commerce right now isn't modern enough. Simple as that. And why is that? First of all, mobile e-commerce, e-commerce right now is not suited for mobile in general. It's bulky, it's kind of slow. It has too much of disturbing content for the user, which lowers the end conversion for the apps. Then it's not stable during peaks. If you probably try to buy something during Black Friday or Christmas period, you notice that it's kind of hard to buy something on mobile. Then it's also not effective with poor internet connection. If you've ever been to, Madrid also has a tube, so probably if you try to browse the internet while being in tube, it can be like problematic. And last of all, it has long time to market. So in general, the development of front end to many e-commerce solutions is sometimes quite time-consuming and sometimes also budget-consuming. So it's also not so effective because of that. And what we thought about is a Vue storefront. So it's a future-proof e-commerce for mobile, which generally can be connected to almost every e-commerce solution on the market, meaning Magento and the others. It renders the whole product catalogs within a few milliseconds. Then it also queues the orders even if the server is unavailable. It has really nice technology stack like Vue.js, Node.js. It's developers friendly, and what's most important, it's open source. Because here in Divante, we generally believe that open source is something we can trust. I know what you think probably about. It's like, seriously. But yeah, that's what we think. Filip will now maybe deep dive into some more technical aspects of the solution, so you can see how does it work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can you hear me? Good. Yeah. My name is Filip. I'm a front-end developer from Divante. I don't want the slide. So now when you know basically what is Vue storefront and what problems we're trying to solve, it's time to talk a little bit about how we're solving these problems. And we'll start maybe from architecture to give you a basic overview of what Vue storefront is and how it works. Okay, so of course the main, of course the main and most important thing of the Vue storefront is the Vue storefront itself. It's a single page app written in Vue.js. It's just a front end. It features all the PWA features like push notifications, it's offline ready, etc. And it focuses a lot on mobile experience. In fact, if you know what progressive web apps is, you know you can pin the app to the home screen on your mobile phone and use it like a real native app. You can browse it offline, you can use push notifications and all that stuff. The second important part of whole Vue storefront is Vue storefront API, because even the best frontend is useless without data. We are using our own NoSQL database in Elastic. The funny thing about Elastic is that it provides native API. So we're using this API, and we are using this NoSQL database, and that's all needed for Vue storefront to work, basically. You got front end, you've got database, and all that works. But the thing that makes Vue storefront really exciting is ability to connect to any backend and use to any backend of e-commerce. Use, for example, Magento as your backend, or Shopify or something like this, but we're focused on Magento. And now we have a tool called Magento2. It's an adapter between Vue storefront API and Magento, and it allows our frontend to use all features from Magento. So we don't have to make some trade-offs. You can use all features from Magento, and also use progressive web apps. Yeah. So that's the architecture fully. And now when we know basically what the architecture is, let's talk about the technology stack and how we made this flawless user experience. So as I mentioned a few times before, we are using Vue.js as our front-end framework. It's super fast. The learning curve is very, very fast. It's very developer-friendly, so we chose Vue.js. We're using Node.js because it's very good to work with APIs, and basically everything our backend is doing, it's working with APIs, and we didn't want to expand our technology stack, so we started with JavaScript. We're using Elasticsearch as our NoSQL database. I said it before. We are using local forage for in-browser caching and in-browser database because one of the coolest features of Vue storefront is you're not always reaching the endpoints. You're not always reaching the database. Most of the things are cached in your browser, and we use local forage because of its wide browser support. And the most interesting things in our technology stack are the things strictly connected with progressive web apps. It's service workers and web manifest, which allows us to have native-like experience and offline browsing and push notifications and everything like this. Basically, when you go to the app in Google Chrome, for example, you can pin it to your home screen and use it like a native app. You can see the difference. We focused very, very much on developer experience and speed of development. We wanted to give Vue storefront developers everything they need to speed up their development and reach production-ready state as fast as possible. The first thing we wanted to give them is a core components. Basically, the core components, wait a second, and a second, okay. Basically, we implemented all basic e-commerce features in our core components. And if you want to make your theme, you can extend from our components, make your own components, you can expand them. You can extend them with your own features or just leave the business logic and style them. The second thing we wanted to give you is a default theme, because you don't even need to style the core components because we have a theme. We called it default, and it features everything that you need. It features offline notifications. It features offline store states. When you're offline, the views are changing. It features flawless mobile experience. It features responsive web design. So basically, it has all you need to have a converting mobile store. If you want, you can change some parts of it. If you want, you can make your own theme from the scratch. But basically, all you need to do if you want a fully functioning shop is get the default theme, make some changes if you want, and push it to production. So let's see the slide that Mateusz discussed a few minutes ago with modern e-commerce weaknesses. Now, let's see how Vue storefront is dealing with these weaknesses. So as you see, we solved all the problems we addressed with this software. And as I mentioned before, it's open source. We believe that this product is a real game changer in e-commerce industry. We believe that it will change the way that people are buying things, especially in mobile phones, because now it's a pain in the ass. So we think it should be accessible to anyone. And we also believe in an open source community. We're actively looking for contributors. So if you want, these statistics are not actually now we have about 250 stars on GitHub, 9 contributors, including front-end developers, back-end developers, UX designers. So if you want to join our team and contribute, feel free to reach me after this presentation. I can tell you the details. If you don't want to contribute, please at least leave a star. It will help us a lot. And that would be all. If you have any questions about this project, please reach me after the presentation, which Mateusz will answer your questions. And thank you very much for your attention.